Dear Scorpio, here's wonderful news for you. 2026 will be so full of fulfilled wishes that your life will feel glitched. Welcome to the channel for zodiac signs and wealth guidance. Today, we're bringing you the new annual save edition of Scorpio's 2026 wealth horoscope. Mr. Ayama, please share the details. Alright, let's dive into the explanation. Dear Scorpio, today's video is about something incredibly important because honestly, Scorpio's 2026 is insane. You must be wondering what makes it so crazy. Scorpio's 2026 isn't just about good luck or being lucky, it's about life being too fulfilling, to the point of feeling glitched. He'll explain exactly what this means carefully from now on. First, let's get this out of the way. Every Scorpio has had the experience of feeling like they lost the moment they believed in something. That's why you're scared to hope, scared to expect. You want to believe, but you can't fully trust. If that resonates, you're completely normal. Your doubt isn't wrong. Closing your heart wasn't weakness. It was just self-protection. And what made you suffer most wasn't just lack of money. It was watching your time slip away, your trust erode, your self-esteem chip away while your responsibilities only grew. You worked so hard, but nothing seemed to increase. If anything, it decreased, yet no one noticed. You didn't explain, didn't cry, didn't lash out angrily. You just burned silently, unremembered everything. That's what it means to be a Scorpio. Up until 2025, you might have hidden behind a smile, said "I'm fine," put on a brave face. But deep down, something has been cold since that day. It's not that you weren't angry, it's that you'd given up. Better to never hope at all than to hope and be disappointed. Better to keep your distance than to trust and get hurt. You survived by the skin of your teeth to avoid breaking yourself. But Scorpio, 2026 is the year that ends. More precisely, it's the year when others' convenience fades from your life. And in its place, what returns to you isn't money or praise, it's control. That's what Scorpio truly wants. More than success. You hate being controlled. More than winning. You hate being taken from. More than earning. You want to hold the steering wheel of your own life. The stronger this feeling is for you, the more powerful Scorpio's 2026 will be, because 2026 isn't about your comeback. It's about reclaiming control. And here's something even more important. Scorpio's 2026 won't be a sudden reversal or overnight explosion. Quietly, surely, your share of good fortune will shift. How others treat you will change. Relationships will be filtered, and the flow of money will realign around you. That's why life will feel too good to be true. Glitched. Even, there's a cosmic reason for this flow in 2026. Saturn enters Aries, strengthening the trend where reality shifts for those who've made up their minds. Additionally, Uranus moves into Gemini, causing sudden upheaval in contracts, relationships, and money flows. What you've endured beneath the surface will finally come to light, no longer bearable, and 2026 will be a year where only what's real remains. This is perfect for you, because Scorpio isn't a sign that grows wealthy by accumulating shallow relationships. You're a sign that transforms life through deep trust, profound connections, and meaningful contracts, small in number, but life-changing in impact. So in 2026, this is what you'll do. You'll no longer let others take advantage of you. No longer let yourself be undervalued. No longer carry burdens in silence. From this point on, you'll become someone who cannot be taken from. This video is an annual save edition, compiling everything that will happen to Scorpio in 2026. The first half, turning points. Second half, fulfillment, into one complete guide. By watching until the end, you'll be able to say, I no longer want to live in ambiguity. I no longer want to be treated casually. I am taking back my life. I have one request: if today's words resonate with you even a little, please subscribe to the channel. Scorpio's 2026 is too precious to miss halfway this year. Reality will shift in proportion to your resolve. And leave your declaration in the comments. I receive Scorpio's 2026 luck. I reclaim control of my life. From the moment you write these words, your flow will shift toward reality. We're so excited for Scorpio's 2026 luck. Alright, let's begin. Chapter 1: Why you were on the brink of breaking by 2025. Scorpio. First and foremost, let me say this: you are not weak. You are not spoiled. You are not lazy. On the contrary, you are too strong. Strength isn't about enduring or tolerating, it's about surviving without breaking. That's why you've come this far without telling anyone. Even when you wanted to cry, were angry, or hurt, you kept up the daily routine with a fine face. But that strength is what made you suffer most up until 2025. Because Scorpio doesn't scream before breaking, and even after breaking. You don't show it to anyone. You just sink into it quietly, deep within yourself. In other words, you've been sealing your heart away for far too long. Let me ask you this: did you feel this way before 2025? You acted for others, but you were always the one who lost in the end. You did everything right, but you were taken advantage of behind the scenes. You were serious, but the other person was casual. You felt like believing would be the end of you, so you chose not to hope from the start. This is a feeling deep in every Scorpio's heart. But on the surface, you say it doesn't matter. I'm fine. It'll work out somehow. That it'll work out protected you, but at the same time, it slowly chipped away at your luck, wealth, and life. Today, let's be clear: the reason Scorpio suffered so much until 2025 isn't because you were bad, or because you had bad luck. It's because you were too real. First, Scorpio takes trust seriously, so betrayal is devastating. Scorpio doesn't trust easily. You struggle with casual socializing, grow tired of shallow relationships. But in return, once you trust someone, you entrust them with your entire life, your feelings, time, resolve, future. So when betrayal happens, you can't brush it off like other signs. Scorpio thinks: I misjudged them. I was wrong to trust. Maybe I was weak. But that's all untrue. You did nothing wrong. You trusted sincerely, but the other person took it lightly. For Scorpio, trust isn't a game. It's a contract. That's why so many of you grew afraid of trusting at all by 2025. You wanted to believe, but couldn't. You wanted to get close, but hesitated. You wanted to love, but doubted. This isn't a flaw in your character, it's proof that your life has always been serious. Second, Scorpio forgives through silence, not words. Up until 2025, you repeatedly chose not to fight back, not to explain, not to get angry. You chose distance. In other words, silence. Scorpio doesn't fight with words. You could win, but you don't. You could strike, but you hold back. You could destroy, but you refrain because you know that once you do, it'll be over for good. You understand the weight of endings better than anyone, so you stay silent. But to others, that silence can look like it's not a big deal. They don't mind. I can do it again. That's Scorpio's loss. You weren't unangry, you'd given up. It was easier to never hope than to hope and be disappointed. But this resignation is what stopped your wealth luck. Because wealth luck ultimately returns when you draw the line. I hate being treated this way. This condition is unacceptable. I'm worth this much. 2025 was a year where you endured too much without drawing that line, so your responsibilities grew, but your share of good fortune didn't. Third, Scorpio sees through pretense, so relationships drain you. This is a feeling every Scorpio has but rarely puts into words. This person isn't being honest. They're hiding something. They're testing me. I can't trust them. You just know you feel it, and you don't say anything. You don't want conflict, don't have proof, don't want to ruin the mood, or just find it troublesome. But in return, your heart is chipped away. Scorpio can't but notice you can't be insensitive. Can't look away. Can't pretend. So even when you put on a calm face, you're exhausted inside. You weren't tired because you worked hard, you were tired because you kept up appearances, while seeing through everyone. That's the most draining. Smiling when you feel they're insincere. Going along when something feels off. Engaging with people you can't trust, it wears down your soul. But Scorpio writes this off as growing up. But that's not growing up, that's fighting a constant battle. Fourth, Scorpio loves deeply, so casual treatment hurts. The most Scorpio's greatest fear isn't failure, poverty, or loneliness. It's being treated casually, being undervalued, used for convenience, brushed off, not cherished. This is hell for Scorpio, because when you cherish someone, you cherish them completely, you protect them, think of them, carry their burdens, devote yourself, prepare for the worst. When someone who lives with that depth is treated lightly, your self-worth crumbles. You start to think, is this all in worth? But that's not true. Your worth isn't low, the other person simply can't handle your depth. Scorpio is too deep, so when you're in shallow spaces, you get hurt. Up until 2025, you might have seen your depth as a flaw. But 2025 is different. That depth will become money, trust, recognition, a weapon. This is the reversal. Fifth, Scorpio wants control more than money, so 2025 was painful. Scorpio isn't actually attached to money itself. What you want is to not be controlled, not be taken from, not be confined, not be looked down on, and to choose your own life. In other words, control. That's why 2025 hurt, not because you lost money, but because you lost choice. You couldn't say no to what you didn't want. Couldn't leave what you wanted to escape. Couldn't change your environment. Had to swallow your true words. That accumulation stopped your wealth luck, because wealth luck returns the moment control does. For Scorpio, when you take back your life, the flow of money follows. 2026 is exactly that year. Sixth, in 2026, Scorpio's reality will change through filtering. Here's a crucial truth: Scorpio's 2026 luck will decrease the more you try to please everyone. It's the opposite. Your luck will rise as you filter. Cut ties. Keep what matters. Narrow your focus. Deepen connections. Protect what's yours. That's how Scorpio wins. Creating one deep bond will change your life more than dozens of shallow ones. Astrologically, 2026 is a year where resolve, contracts, and transitions grow stronger. Saturn entering Aries puts an end to half measures. Uranus moving into Gemini reshapes how relationships and money work. In other words, 2026 is telling you keep only what's real, let go of the rest, and take back your life. This is the start of Scorpio's revival. Chapter 1 Conclusion. Your suffering wasn't because you were weak, it was because you were deep, serious, sincere. And 2026 is the year that depth is rewarded. Let me say it again, Scorpio can't be satisfied with trivial happiness. What you want is a real life. To all Scorpios craving that, you are truly a profound sign. And because you're profound, 2026 will be an amazing year once you understand how to navigate it. In the next chapter, we'll reveal the specific turning points where that real life begins, when wealth luck moves, when relationships shift, when reality starts to feel glitch-ed. It all starts here. Chapter 2 2026 Turning Points when Scorpio's life begins to glitch. Scorpio, don't listen to the rest of this with a casual attitude, because 2026 is a year where you won't want to change. Won't choose to change. You'll have no choice but to change. And that's not something to fear. It's a forced reset, guiding you back to the real life you've always desired deep down. Scorpio isn't afraid of change, on the contrary. You're afraid of not changing. Living without being true to yourself is hell. That's why 2026 will be a year with no escape routes. A year where you finally reach what's real. From here, we'll list the turning points in order, but we won't just rattle off dates. What Scorpio really wants to know is what will happen. So here's the breakdown. Scorpio's 2026 will have multiple moments where life shifts. But these turning points fall into 4 key zones. 1. February, March, your breaking point explodes. And life direction is set. The first peak of 2026 is February, March. Simply put, Scorpio will reach their limit, and this isn't a bad thing. Scorpio is a sign where life begins to turn the moment you hit rock bottom. Up until 2025, you were probably thinking, I can still endure. I can still do more. Giving up now means losing. If I break, everything falls apart. You've been carrying it all alone. But February, March 2026 is the signal that this burdened life is over. What will happen is particularly piercing to Scorpios, so a small betrayal will be the final straw. It might not be a big event, just a single sentence, a single attitude, a single moment of casualness. But Scorpio will know they're not serious. I was the only one who cared. There's no future here. And you'll decide quietly it's over. In cutting ties. I won't look back. I won't give in anymore. This is Scorpio's turning point. And what comes next is amazing. From the moment you cut ties, fate begins to move. What was stagnant starts flowing scarily fast. Calls come in. Opportunities arise. Connections form. Reality accelerates. During this period, your life will be forced forward in a direction that says, this is no longer my life. You won't be struggling to move, fate will be pushing you. Second, April, June, entering a zone where reality can't keep up. This is when Scorpio's life really begins to glitch. Honestly, this is the insane zone for you. What happens from April to June? What was dormant awakens, wishes you'd given up on, talents you pretended to forget, possibilities you thought were impossible, they all return. Scorpio is a sign that decides never to feel the same pain twice. So up until 2025, you likely sealed off your own potential. If I succeed, I might lose it again. If I hope, I might be disappointed. If I want it, it might be taken from me. So you said you didn't want it from the start. But from April to June 2026, that seal will break, not by your will, but by reality. As if saying, here, this is your life. What's likely to happen? A sudden big role comes your way. Your value is specifically acknowledged. Relationships deepen, income streams multiply. What you've always wanted becomes reality. But Scorpio will feel scared here. Is it really okay for things to go this well? Will I fall again? Will it break the moment I'm happy? But let me say this, what Scorpio receives in this zone isn't a reward for luck, it's a reckoning for your life. Everything you cried for, endured, sacrificed, let go of up until 2025 will balance out during this period. That's why reality can't keep up. And Scorpio will finally realize what you wanted was just money, it was respect, equality, sincerity, a place where you can live authentically. All of it returns at once. Third, July, September, reclaiming control of your life. When this zone arrives, Scorpio changes, you become quietly strong. What changes? You can no longer be taken from. Your time, emotions, kindness, sincerity, no one will treat them casually anymore. Above all, you will no longer allow yourself to live a life of casual treatment. Scorpio, once awakened, can never go back. You hate half measures, so during this period, you'll no longer stay in places where you're not cherished, no longer engage with people who don't take you seriously, no longer do things that undervalue you. Protect yourself fiercely the moment you can do this. Your wealth luck will never stop. Because Scorpio's wealth luck is linked to control. Control equals wealth luck. Control equals fate. Control equals life. The more you reclaim control, the more your reality falls into place. Fourth, October, December, the fulfillment zone. Life feels too good to be true. This is where your wealth luck takes shape, and it's both the scariest and happiest zone. Once you enter October, December, Scorpio can no longer escape. Because what happens here is fulfillment. What's likely to happen? Your income jumps to a new level, your lifestyle upgrades, the core of your relationship shifts, your status changes, past pain becomes meaningful. Scorpio has always wished, "Oh, I never want to feel that way again. Next time, I want a life that can't be taken from me. I want to be the one choosing, not the one being chosen." This wish is most likely to come true from October to December. That's why it feels glitch-ed. Your inner values can't keep up with the reality unfolding around you. Wait, am I allowed to receive this much? Did this world always exist? But that's okay. That feeling is proof that you've stepped into your true life. Chapter to summary: Scorpio's 2026 follows a fixed order of change. February-March, limit reach. Decision made. April-June, reality moves faster than you can keep up. January-September, control reclaimed. October-December, fulfillment. Life feels glitch-ed, and here's the most important thing: Scorpio's 26 isn't won by those who work the hardest, it's won by those who reclaim their authenticity. Your life begins to move the moment you get serious. That's why 2026 will be fulfilling to fulfilling. Life will feel glitch-ed. In the next chapter, well, organize the exclusive signs that appear within you before this turning point, so you'll know if it's already started for you, or if it's coming soon. These signs are incredibly important, Scorpio. Be sure to check them. Chapter 3, exclusive signs only Scorpio gets before life feels too good to be true. Scorpio, to those who've watched this far, let me say it again, here's wonderful news for you. 26 will be so full of fulfilled wishes that your life will feel glitch-ed. But this is where it gets real. Scorpio gets more scared the closer they get to fulfillment. Will it break if I hope? Will it end the moment I believe? Will I lose it as soon as I get it? You hit the brakes on yourself. But don't worry, Scorpio's 2026 will always send signs before fulfillment. And these signs aren't subtle, they come in the form of endings, cuts, quiet cooling, irrevocable change. That's why those who notice them will win. Below are 9 exclusive signs only Scorpio gets. If even one applies to you, your 2026 has already begun. First, suddenly unable to be kind. 2026. Pluto enters Pisces, pushing society to embrace authenticity and resolve. Scorpio will also reach their limit with shallow relationships. Things you once laughed off suddenly aren't funny anymore. Things you once forgave suddenly feel unforgivable. Things you once endured suddenly feel impossible. But this doesn't mean you've become cold, it means the switch to your real life has been flipped. Scorpio is a two-kind sign, so your kindness was often taken for granted. But 2026 is different. Your kindness will become a weapon to choose who deserves you. This sign means you've started preparing to end relationships that treat you casually. Second, the quality of communication changes in 2026. Saturn enters Aries, making ambiguous relationships unsustainable. Only what's real remains in Scorpio's connections. Shallow messages decrease. Casual invitations fade. Meaningless small talk dwindles. In their place, consultations, requests, invitations, specific mentions, missions. If these increase, your luck is already moving. Scorpio's fate isn't moved by shallow connections, it's moved by heavy contracts. What Scorpio receives in 2026 isn't a chance, it's a selected position. Third, suddenly losing interest in things you once loved in 2026. Neptune's influence makes illusions fragile. Scorpio's ability to spot fakes accelerates. Things you once cherished suddenly feel irrelevant. Social media you always checked feels boring. Relationships you once enjoyed suddenly feel heavy. This doesn't mean you're broken, it means your soul is moving to the next world. Before Scorpio changes, you always feel the old version of yourself ending. And that ending is the entrance to a future that's too good to be true. Fourth, wanting to be alone in 2026. Pluto's transformation deepens, rewriting the depths of your heart. Scorpio needs silence before this happens. Suddenly, you want to be alone, don't want to meet anyone, don't want to reply to messages, just want to be quiet. This isn't loneliness, it's adjustment. Before major life changes, Scorpio always grows quiet. To decide what to end, who to choose, what to protect, you need silence to make these choices. So don't rush. Time alone protects your future. Fifth, changing how you spend money. 2026 is a year of value realignment. Scorpio can no longer choose a cheap life. You can't buy cheap things, struggle with casual spending, hate wasting money on meaningless things. In return, you can afford what's real, invest in what will matter in the future, spend on what's valuable. If this happens, your wealth luck switch has been flipped. Scorpio's wealth luck isn't moved by amount, it's moved by values. The moment you end a life of casual treatment, the gateway for money changes. Sixth, physical signs of what's unbearable in 2026. Saturn's influence clarifies limits. Scorpio's body tells you first. Your fatigue feels different. Your sleep changes. Your stomach feels heavy. Your chest aches. Your head hurts. This doesn't mean you're weak, it means your body no longer tolerates what's wrong for you. Scorpio's body reacts first when you're in the wrong place. In 2026, this reaction grows stronger. It's a signal that you're moving toward what's real. Seventh, no longer needing to prove your worth in 2026. Pluto's influence forces you to stand firm in your core. Scorpio shifts from being the chosen to the chooser. You worked hard because you wanted to be understood, felt regret because you weren't recognized, suffered because you weren't trusted. But 2026 changes this. You no longer need to prove yourself. It's okay if some people don't understand. You only engage with those who do. Scorpio who reaches this state wins instantly because your luck returns the moment you stop exhausting yourself to prove your worth. Eighth, anger surfacing in 2026. Neptune and Saturn's influence makes pretense impossible. Scorpio enters a flow where past wounds become fuel. Anger, regret, and forgiveness, they all rise to the surface. I endured so much. I held back for so long. This isn't a sign of breaking, it's a signal of reversal. Anger becomes Scorpio's boundary line. Here, you learn to protect yourself, and from there, wealth luck returns. Ninth, a strong desire to end things. 2026 is a year of life cleaning for Scorpio. Reality catches up the moment you end what needs to end: jobs, relationships, places, habits, endurance. If this feeling arises, your 2026 is real. Scorpio's luck moves the moment you end something because strong luck enters the space you create. The moment the space for endurance, restraint, and fear opens up, the path to a life that's too good to be true appears. Chapter 3 Summary. Scorpio. We listed 9 signs. If even one applies, your 2026 has already begun. Remember this: Scorpio ends things before they're fulfilled, cuts ties before they're fulfilled, cools down quietly before filled. So it's okay to be scared. Fear is a sign that reality is about to change. In the next chapter, we'll connect why Scorpio's 2026 is so fulfilling to cosmic flows and Scorpio's mission, drawing a straight line between them. What comes after fulfillment is just as important for Scorpio. Chapter 4 Why Scorpio's 2026 is to fulfilling life feels glitch ed. Scorpio. Chapter 4 is the most important. In chapters 1 and 2, we laid bare how much you suffered and how much reversal is coming. In chapter 3, we gave you 9 signs before fulfillment. But you're a Scorpio, you don't believe in kind words alone. Can't move with hope alone. Can't open your heart to vague encouragement. What Scorpio really wants is certainty. So in this chapter, we'll give you clear reasons why your 2026 is so powerful, connecting it all to cosmic flows. By the end of this chapter, you'll think this isn't a coincidence. My life was always meant to move. I can't stop now. This time, in taking it back. And that's exactly how it should be. Scorpio's reality changes the moment certainty sets in. First, 2026 rewrites the hidden structure of Scorpio's life first. Grasp this: Scorpio's 2026 isn't about surface-level luck improving. It's about rewriting something deeper, the foundation of your life, the hidden structure of your fate, the invisible systems that govern you. The planet causing this rewrite is Pluto. In astrology, Pluto represents ending what's outdated, transforming from the roots, breaking dependencies, reshaping life's direction, reversing power flows. And Pluto is now fully entering Pisces. Pisces rules societal systems, rules, evaluation standards, and error values. In other words, the world is fundamentally shifting from what is right to who gathers value. That's why you suffered so much until 2025. No matter how hard you worked, you weren't rewarded. No matter how much you endured, you gained nothing. The more you tolerated, the more you were taken from. It's not because you were weak, it's because in the old system, Scorpio's sincerity was easily exploited. But in 2026, your position changes. This is Scorpio's reversal. Scorpio doesn't win through effort, you win the moment the system shifts. Second, when Saturn moves, life's indulgences end. In 2026, Saturn enters Aries. Saturn rules materialization, responsibility, rules, deadlines, and the power to give form. Aries rules new beginnings, decisions, self-assertion, speaking your truth, choosing. In other words, 2026 becomes no more time for hesitation. Ambiguous relationships end. No more procrastination. Only those who are serious remain. This is huge for Scorpio because you only trust people who are serious. But up until now, life has been full of people pretending to be serious, those who get close despite being shallow, those who rely on you then disappear, those who are only passionate when it's convenient. Scorpio has been hurt by these people. Trust and be broken, hope and be betrayed, protect and be used. So you withdrew, determined never to get hurt again. But in 2026, Saturn entering Aries creates a world where fake sincerity can't survive. This is your tailwind. Scorpio can only be serious, so the error is finally catching up to you. Third, when Neptune moves, illusions end. In 2026, Neptune also enters Aries. Neptune rules dreams, ideals, illusions, spirituality, blurred boundaries, making things both better and more ambiguous. Aries rules starting, asserting, deciding, doing it yourself, moving first. When Neptune enters Aries, a phenomenon occurs. Vague dreams suddenly become real. Long wished for futures abruptly become practical options. Conversely, fakes are exposed instantly. You can no longer live on convenient hope or be fooled by sweet words. This is the hallmark of 2026, and Scorpio is a sign that sees through fakes. You suffered because of it. In places where everyone else was having fun, you alone felt the disconnect. In words everyone else believed, you alone couldn't fully trust. But 2026 is different. Scorpio's discomfort becomes the correct path. That's why it's fulfilling. The world you've always thought was right is ending. The moment it ends, your life's turn arrives. Fourth, Scorpio's reversal happens when you step out of the taken from role. Up until 2025, many Scorpios were stuck in the taken from role, having your heart, time, trust, effort, and kindness taken from you. In the end, only exhaustion and emptiness remained. Scorpio is strong, but because you're strong, you can endure. And because you can endure, you're taken from for longer. But 2026 ends this for one reason: the cosmic flow is shifting to a world where the takers can't win. 2026 is a year where only what's real remains. Trust becomes value. Depth becomes a weapon. These are all Scorpio's domains. That's why Scorpio reverses. It's not flashy luck, it's a quiet reversal. Before you know it, your share of good fortune has increased. Before you know it, you're in control. Before you know it, You're either one choosing. This is how Scorpio wins. Fifth, in 2026, Scorpio gets everything they wanted all at once. Here's what's scary about Scorpio. You don't want just one thing. Money alone isn't enough. Love alone isn't enough. Freedom alone isn't enough. What Scorpio wants is peace of mind, trust, sincerity, allies, deep connections, a future you can protect, a reality without betrayal, all of it. That's why it never came true before. Even if you got one thing, the lack of the others left you unfulfilled. But 2026 is a year where this complete set is likely to come true because cosmic flows are accelerating, filtering. Shallow connections fade, fakes disappear, endurance ends, sincerity emerges. What remains is exactly what you need. Scorpio's wishes come true all at once. When they come true to fulfilled, life feels glitched. This isn't hype, it's a trait of how Scorpio's wishes are granted. Sixth, in 2026, Scorpio wins without fighting. This is also crucial. You've been fighting for so long, not against visible enemies, but against social norms, common sense, endurance, responsibility, anxiety, loneliness. But 2026 means no more fighting. You move to a place where fighting isn't necessary. Scorpio isn't a fighting sign, you're a sign that strikes deeply. When placed in a position to win, you end it with one blow. So 2026 doesn't require hard work. Excessive effort will actually make you miss your luck. All you need to do is choose what's real. That's enough to win. Chapter for summary. Scorpio. There are clear reasons why 2026 will be too fulfilling. Life feels glitched. Pluto is reversing error values. Saturn entering Aries ends ambiguity. The world becomes one where only sincerity remains. Fakes and shallow connections disappear. Endurance ends. And Scorpio's depth becomes a weapon. That's why Scorpio reverses. By now, you should understand your suffering wasn't because you were weak, it was because your depth didn't align with the error. But 2026 aligns with you. The error needs you. In the next chapter, we'll solidify this flow into reality. Whether you do these things or not will make you a completely different person in 2026. We'll give you Scorpio's winning strategy through actions and choices. We're excited to share Scorpio's exclusive winning way, knowing the actual actions will make 26 an amazing year. Chapter 5. The choices Scorpio must never make for explosive wealth luck. Scorpio. Chapter 5 is extremely important, because the higher Scorpio's luck rises in 2026, the more life changes, the faster those who fall will crash. Scorpio doesn't fall when luck is bad, you fall when luck starts to improve. Stopping yourself with old habits. This is Scorpio's fear and also your winning strategy. Today, we'll be clear, 2026 isn't a year where Scorpio gains by working harder, it's a year where those who choose win. Whether your 2026 is to fulfilling life feels glitched, or you stop just short and return to the same suffering, depends on the choices you don't make in this chapter. We're not talking about effort or perseverance. Scorpio's 2026 wealth luck explodes by not doing certain things. Because Scorpio's wealth luck stops in its tracks with one wrong choice, but conversely, stopping one thing is enough for it to explode. Let's begin. First, never choose to carry everything alone. This is the first and biggest trap. Up until 2025, many Scorpios survived by carrying everything alone. You couldn't tell anyone, couldn't admit weakness, didn't want to be spoiled, didn't want to rely on anyone. The moment you rely on someone, you feel betrayed, controlled, judged. So Scorpio silently does it all. But in 2026, the moment you do this, you lose. Because 2026 is a year where Scorpio's share of good fortune decreases the more you carry. Carry it, and you'll get tired. Get tired, and your judgment will blur. Blur, and you'll miss opportunities. Miss them, and you'll feel self-hatred. Feel self-hatred, and you'll carry more. Break this loop in 2026. What Scorpio needs isn't to be weak, it's to divide in order to win. Delegate. Rely on others. Ask for help. Consult. Use people's strengths. This isn't incompetence, it's strategy. The more you carry alone, the smaller your sphere of influence. Conversely, the moment you delegate, your sphere expands. 2026 is the year Scorpio moves from a carrying life to a receiving life. Second, never choose to doubt and stop. Scorpio is a skeptical sign, and that's not a bad thing. In fact, Scorpio's skepticism is why only what's real remains. But in 2026 alone, doubting the wrong way will end you. Because 2026 is a year where opportunities come to Scorpio from others, introductions, invitations, offers, being chosen, being named specifically. In those moments, Scorpio thinks there must be a catch. Trusting will only hurt me again. I'll lose if I hope. I don't deserve to be chosen. I'll just lose it anyway. These are wounds from 2025 speaking. But 2026 is different. The moment you say these words, the door to wealth luck closes. The important thing is don't stop doubting, stop acting on doubt. It's okay to doubt, but don't stop moving. Doubt while advancing. Verify while receiving. Confirm while entering. 2026 is a year where Scorpio's wealth luck becomes certain through movement. Nothing happens if you stop to seek certainty. Scorpio's life only reverses when you move. Third, never choose to wait for perfection. Scorpio pursues perfection, hating carelessness, half measures, shallowness. This feeling is your aesthetic, your strength. But in 2026 alone, Scorpio who waits for perfection will be left behind. Because 2026 is a year where reality moves before perfection. It'll start when I'm ready. It'll change when everything is in place. It'll receive when I have extra time. While you're thinking this, opportunities will go to someone else. And watching this, Scorpio thinks I really am no good. I'm too late. I have no luck. But that's not true. Scorpio loses not because of luck, but because of the habit of waiting too long. What Scorpio needs in 2026 isn't perfection, it's starting with 70%. Start with 70%. Receive with 70%. Advance with 70% and complete it as you go. Scorpio is inherently a sign that thrives under pressure to complete. So in 2026, don't aim for perfection from the start. Fulfillment begins with moving. Scorpio. Fourth, never choose to endure, thinking it will change. This is Scorpio's painful truth. You can endure, and because you can, you endure longer. Because you can endure, you don't move until you reach your limit. But in 2026, doing this will trap you in the same place forever. Because 2026 is a year where your life shrinks in proportion to your endurance. 2026 isn't a year where those who endure are rewarded. It's a year where those who choose reclaim reality. Nothing changes while you endure. Your wealth luck is drained while you endure. Endurance, though invisible, chips away at your emotional reserves. And when Scorpio's emotional reserves hit zero, you can't believe in anything anymore. So in 2026, choose before enduring. Quit, leave, refuse, cut ties, change. Scorpio's luck moves the moment you cut ties. It's scary, but in 2026, scary is correct. Your wealth luck only exists on the scary path. Fifth, never choose to refuse relationship changes. Finally, this is the most important. Scorpio's relationships will shift in 2026. This is certain. Old relationships end. How you interact changes. Distances shift. Some people can't stay in your life anymore. What Scorpio tends to do here is cling to these relationships, thinking it'll be lost without them. I can't do it without this person. I'm scared to leave this place. But the moment you do this, your 2026 stops. Because Scorpio's wealth luck is determined by relationships: who you're with, who you open your heart to, who you spend your time with. This is where fate changes. In 2026, relationships that don't suit you will naturally fall away. It's lighter than loneliness. Easier than pain. This feeling means it's not an end, but a beginning. Relationship shifts are an upgrade for your life. It's okay to be scared. Okay to cry, but don't go back. Scorpio's hell starts again the moment you backtrack. 2026 is a year where only Scorpio who doesn't look back wins. Chapter 5 Summary. Scorpio. 2026 isn't a year where working harder gains you more. It's a year where those who rate yous win. Don't carry everything alone. Don't doubt and stop. Don't wait for perfection. Don't endure endlessly. Don't refuse relationship changes. Stopping just these things will make your wealth luck explode. Because for Scorpio, stopping the wrong things is more important than doing the right ones to increase wealth luck. In the next chapter, we'll finally give you 7 completion routes to turn 2026 wealth luck into reality. From Iran, you'll become a completely different person in 2026. Chapter 6 7 completion routes to turn 2026 wealth luck into reality. Scorpio. By now you should realize 2026 isn't just a year of better luck, it's a year where life is too fulfilling to be true. But this doesn't mean it will happen automatically without doing anything. Scorpio's wealth luck has always been this way. Only those who choose sincerely can move reality sincerely. In 2026, all the conditions for this are in place. So here are 7 completion routes to turn wealth luck into reality. You don't have to do all of them, but the moment you do even one, reality changes. First, choose one core. Solidify how you're treated. The first thing Scorpio must do in 2026 is this: choose one core and solidify how others treat you. Scorpio is versatile. You can fall deeply in love, do almost anything. But Scorpio doesn't win through versatility, you win through your core. The sincerity you've hidden for so long. The domain you've never surrendered. The depth you'll never compromise on. You can bring this to the surface in 2026. In fact, wealth luck is completed by those who do. Because 2026 is a year where deep trust is chosen over shallow exhaustion. Here's all you need to decide, just 3 things. This is what I'll bet on. This is my domain. I won't sell myself short beyond this point. The moment this treatment is fixed, others' reactions change. Casual requests decrease. Shallow connections fade. And in their place comes heavy trust. More nominations. Better introductions. Solidified rates. And a changed share of good fortune. In other words, wealth luck is completed. Scorpio's 2026 isn't a battle of effort, it's a year where reality moves the moment you reveal your core. Second, put a price on your worth when asked for help. Scorpio gives their all. When consulted, you take on their entire life. But in 2026, the moment you do this for free, it's over. Your value returns to being used for convenience. The amount doesn't matter, put a price on it anyway. This alone protects the flow of wealth luck. Third, change who you associate with. Scorpio's wealth luck changes the moment relationships shift in 2026. Choose people who lift you up, not drain you. Keep only relationships that elevate your future, not those tied by obligation. This is a condition for wealth luck completion. Fourth, stop wasting money on fixed expenses. Scorpio's wealth luck explodes when the amount you keep increases, not the amount you earn. Just stop one unnecessary fixed expense. Luck moves for Scorpio who reclaims the flow of money. Fifth, create 2 income streams. Don't rely on a single source of income. Have at least one more, even if it's small. This alone stabilizes Scorpio, leading to eventual explosion. Sixth, systemize, i.e. your strength. Scorpio tends to rely on effort, but in 2026, the moment you systemize it automatically increases. Template it, menuize it, fix the flow, automate it. This protects your future wealth luck. Seventh, practice receiving small things. Scorpio struggles to receive. You doubt praise, fear recognition. But in 2026, only Scorpio who can receive will complete their luck. It's okay to start small. Say thank you. Accept compliments. Receive money proudly. 2026 is a year where you receive as much as you accept. Chapter 6 Summary. Scorpio. These are your 2026 completion routes. Choose one course. Solidify how you're treated. Put a price on your worth. Change who you associate with. Stop wasting money. Create two income streams. System is i.e. your strengths. Practice receiving. The most important of these is the first. Choose one core. The moment you do this, Scorpio's 2026 begins to fulfill. Final chapter. The fork in the road. Scorpio who did versus didn't. Scorpio. Thank you for watching until the end. What comes next isn't astrology, it's the final chapter that clearly divides whether Scorpio's 2026 is to fulfilling life feels blitz-ed or not. The wealth luck you receive in 2026 isn't reserved for the lucky, it's reserved for Scorpio who chooses. To be honest, 2026 will bring opportunities to Scorpio. But whether your life becomes something completely different depends on whether you can trust and receive those opportunities. Below, we'll show you the real futures of Scorpio who did these things and those who didn't. The future of Scorpio who didn't act first. Scorpio who didn't act. This could be your reality one day. Out of the blue, you receive a message. Long time no see. How are you? This isn't a coincidence. Your luck is rising. So relationships are moving. But Scorpio who didn't act thinks there must be a catch. Trusting will only hurt me again. I'll lose if I hope. And you don't change, you ignore it. Keep your distance. The result. The opportunity comes. But nothing starts. Next. Even though your value has increased, you can raise your prices thinking I'm not perfect yet. I'll wait until I'm more prepared. You miss the timing to receive. Then this happens, your rates never increase. You're busy but not prosperous. Only your physical strength is drained. And you're back to feeling like you're the only one losing. What's worse, 2026 is a year where halfway measures hurt Scorpio the most because the tailwind is so strong. But you're hitting the brakes yourself. To be even more real, someone with similar abilities moves first. You're deeper, more real, stronger, but the person who received first is recognized. Watching this, Scorpio thinks I really am no good. I have no luck. Hard work never pays off. But that's not true. You're not weak, you just doubted and stopped. Waited for perfection. Tried to endure through it. As a result, your 2026 wealth luck ends with a whimper once it increases. Once the opportunity comes, but you're too scared to open the door, and you're back to your old life. The future of Scorpio who acted next. Scorpio who acted. This is when life truly glitches. This could be your reality one day. Someone suddenly says, I need to ask you for a favor. You're the kind of person who can do this. You're the only one I thought of. This is when Scorpio's life changes because Scorpio is strongest when specifically named. And Scorpio who acted can say thank you. I'll do it. I accept these terms. From here on, this is how it will be. The moment you do this, your luck is fixed in reality. Then this happens, people who treated you casually disappear. Training relationships end. You feel terrifyingly light. In their place remains deep connections. Here's an even more real example. Suppose you've been giving free consultations. Scorpio who acted changes this. I charge for 30-minute consultations. From here on, this is my menu. At first, you're scared, but here's the amazing part. People who are willing to pay stay. Those who aren't leave. And the ones who stay cherish you, refer you, spread your value. The result, instead of struggling to earn, you create a flow that increases automatically. And in the second half of Scorpio's 2026, the main event, the more you chose change in the first half, the more your reality becomes, is this really my life? Is it okay for things to go this smoothly? I can't keep up with how fulfilled I am. Scorpio's wealth luck doesn't come flashy like winning the lottery. It completes by changing your share of good fortune. Your rates change. Your conditions change. Who you associate with changes. How your treated changes. Trust increases. Referrals don't stop. And finally you increase without forcing it. You're no longer lonely. Deep connections that truly understand you remain. And your life quietly begins to win. This is the future of Scorpio who acted. Final question: which Scorpio will you be? Scorpio 20